For centuries, humans have gazed at the sky and wondered about the shape of our world. Today, science has given us clear answers. The Earth is a sphere, orbiting the sun, spinning on its axis. Yet, what if that wasn't true? What if the Earth was not round, but actually flat? Exploring this idea takes us on a journey into science, physics, and imagination. It is not about supporting flat Earth theories, but about asking, how would life really work if our planet were flat? To begin, let us imagine the most basic version of a flat Earth, a giant disk, stretching out into space. Gravity, as we know it, pulls everything toward the center of mass. On a spherical Earth, this means down is toward the core, no matter where you stand. On a flat Earth, gravity would act differently. Objects would be pulled toward the center of the disk. This means that if you lived near the edges, you would feel gravity pulling at an angle, dragging you sideways rather than straight down. Walking, building, and even standing upright would become nearly impossible the farther you move from the center. Everyday life would feel distorted, and the laws of physics as we understand them would break down. The sky would also look completely different. On a spherical Earth, we see stars rise and set in arcs because the planet rotates. On a flat Earth, the sky would not behave this way. If the sun circled above the disk, day and night would not unfold as we experience them. Instead of smooth cycles, light would fade unevenly. And some regions might be in constant daylight, while others remained in eternal darkness. Seasons, which rely on the tilt of Earth's axis, would not exist. Agriculture, migration, and the rhythm of life would be entirely different. Travel would also change dramatically. On our globe, you can circumnavigate the Earth, travel in one direction, and eventually return to where you started. On a flat Earth, this would be impossible. Journeys toward the edge of the world would raise terrifying questions. What would you find there? Would there be a massive wall of ice, as some flat Earth models imagine? Or would you simply fall off into the void of space? If so, life near the edges would be dangerous, with societies cut off by impassable boundaries. Exploration, which has defined so much of human history, might never have reached beyond the central regions of the disk. Physics itself would unravel on a flat Earth. Gravity, seasons, and planetary motion are all explained by the fact that our world is round. If Earth were flat, the moon's orbit and the tides it creates would not function in the same way. Oceans might pool at the center of the disk, leaving the edges dry and barren. Weather systems, which depend on Earth's rotation and the Coriolis effect, would not form hurricanes or trade winds as we know them. The climate might be chaotic, unpredictable, and possibly uninhabitable. Space exploration would also make little sense. On a round Earth, satellites orbit by falling around the planet in continuous freefall. Without a sphere, orbits would not be possible. GPS systems, communications satellites, and even our ability to observe space would never have developed. Humanity's entire scientific revolution, from astronomy to physics, would look completely different, or perhaps would never have happened at all. Culturally, a flat Earth would have shaped human beliefs in powerful ways. Ancient myths already imagined Earth as a flat surface supported by turtles, elephants, or pillars. If the Earth truly were flat, such stories might have persisted as scientific truth. Entire religions and philosophies would likely be built around the concept of a disc-shaped world. The question of what lies at the edges would inspire legends of monsters, gods, or other worlds. Humanity's sense of place in the universe would be one of confinement, living on a finite surface, surrounded by unknown mysteries. Economics and politics would also look very different. On our spherical Earth, global trade routes connect continents in loops around the planet. On a flat Earth, the edges might form natural borders, cutting off travel and trade. Societies near the center of the disk might dominate, benefiting from more stable gravity and climate, while edge regions might be poorer, less populated, and possibly considered dangerous. The geography of power would be shaped not by continents and oceans, but by distance from the center. Technology would evolve differently to Navigation systems, maps, and compasses would be designed for a flat plane rather than a globe. Airplanes and ships would never circumnavigate the planet, but instead follow routes across the disk. Pilots and sailors would constantly worry about drifting too close to the edge. Exploration would not be about discovering new continents, but about pushing the limits of how far humans could travel before the world itself ended. Yet, even in a flat Earth scenario, human curiosity would remain. Just as we once dreamed of what lay across the oceans, people would dream of what lay beyond the edge. Expeditions would be launched, myths would be tested, and the mysteries of the horizon would fuel endless debate. The quest for knowledge would not vanish, it would simply take on new shapes. Over time, a flat Earth might even limit human progress. Science relies on consistent natural laws, but many of those laws only make sense on a sphere. Astronomy, physics, and cosmology would be riddled with contradictions. Space travel might never happen, as rockets would not escape orbit in the same way. Humanity might remain confined to the surface of the disk, staring upward at a sky whose secrets remained forever beyond our reach. Of course, imagining a flat Earth also highlights why the round Earth is so important. Our spherical world explains the consistency of gravity, the patterns of weather, the rhythm of seasons, and the cycles of life. It allows satellites to orbit, airplanes to fly, and explorers to travel around the globe. A flat Earth, fascinating as a thought experiment, would be a place of chaos, imbalance, and limitation. In a way, it would make life itself far less stable. Yet this exercise also reveals something profound about humanity. Our willingness to imagine alternatives, to ask what if, and to challenge assumptions. The fact that we can picture a flat Earth and explore its consequences shows the power of human imagination. It also reminds us how remarkable our real planet is, a balanced, spinning sphere that sustains life in countless ways. In the end, a world where the Earth was flat would be a world of strange physics. Broken seasons, dangerous edges, and limited horizons. It would be a world where nature itself was unstable, and human progress might never reach the heights we know today. But by imagining it, we learn to appreciate the beauty and complexity of the real Earth around. Vibrant, life-sustaining planet we call home.